Phasmophobia has finally made its way to console. Let's give a big welcome to all the new ghost hunters out there. Welcome to the community. We are glad to have you. You guys good?
Just psyching us out.
MF's at 5. It's way above.
Oh no, it's killing him. He's dead. If you didn't know, this game has native VR support for both PC and PlayStation. Sorry, Xbox. Phasmophobia is already great, but playing in VR brings it up to that next level.
Oh my god.
At least when you aren't being annoyed by its implementation.
What the heck just happened, dude?
Today we're going to talk about some of the good and some of the bad of playing in VR, and if it's even worth giving it a shot. Starting off with the controls. Now obviously the controllers will be different depending on what platform, but this is more about how you interact with the game world and your inventory. For starters, playing in VR is immediately more immersive. You're not just playing a game, but really there in the haunted house. If you've never used VR before, it is amazing. Really feel present. Each screen of the headset has a slightly shifted image from the other side, giving you a real sense of depth, like your eyes do in real life. And then you get to use your hands to interact with the world too, but unfortunately, since the game wasn't built primarily for VR, a lot of the objects in the game cannot be picked up. However, you do get to hold and use all of your equipment, but it also has its problems. For example, having to hold the camera right next to your face to see orbs because the screen is too small, or having to use both hands to light things like incense, which does make sense, but trying to smudge the ghosts in the middle of a hunt while not being able to hold your flashlight is a bit rough. And you might even drop your equipment if your hands are full and you need to open a door while getting hunted, or you just get startled during a ghost event.
Oh. We're dead.
You also have less buttons to press to cycle through your equipment, and that would not be very immersive anyway, so in VR you get the tool belt. The tool belt acts as your inventory, allowing you to store 2 pieces of equipment, your igniter, your journal, and your walkie-talkie. Yeah, the walkie is cool. The game does have proximity chat, but if you stray too far from your team, you have to use your walkie to communicate. Guys, we got activity upstairs in the master bedroom. There's doors opening, all kinds of crazy stuff happening up here. I personally like there being a physical walkie. In the regular flat version of the game, you just press a button. Some other VR games have you reach by your head for an earpiece instead of having something to hold. I think it feels more real this way. The journal is cool too. You pull it out like a real physical notebook instead of just being another menu. But navigating it can feel a bit awkward at times.
What you doing over there? What you got?
Me? Oh, this is the journal.
Oh.
I get to
don't think
hold
I've ever
it.
actually seen anybody hold it.
Yeah.
That's super fucking funny looking.
Now, as far as equipment goes, I have a love-hate relationship with the tool belt. In VR, your tool belt only has those 2 slots to hold equipment versus just being able to hold 3 equipment on the regular flat version. Now, you do have 2 hands that you can also use to hold equipment, technically bringing it up to 4 total pieces of equipment you can hold. But you pretty much always need a free hand to open doors with or to hold your flashlight, or both. If you want to do both at once, you only get to store those 2 equipments on your belt. Also, I find myself dropping equipment on accident when I'm trying to put things back into my belt. It might just be me, but I feel like the area you need to put your hand in, what I would call like the socket, should be a bit larger. Thankfully, you can still use some of your equipment while it's on your belt, like your EMF detector, DOTS projector, spirit box, most notably the flashlight. However, for some reason, the tier 1 flashlight points at an awkward upwards angle, making it useless on your belt. The other tiers are fine and point forward from the hip, but if you're new, it's gonna be a while before you unlock those. Speaking of your flashlight, you will need it because it is dark in VR, almost too dark. I've seen a lot of complaints about the lighting. It's so dark, dude. These flashlights suck. I agree that on the larger maps and in some of the larger rooms, it can be hard to see with your flashlight.
Dude, my flashlight doesn't even go far enough. Oh, hell no, and the breaker's off by default?
On the smaller maps, it's fine. I think they just need to adjust the length of the flashlight beams. They need to make them a bit longer. The darkness does add to the overall atmosphere and scare factor, especially when the breaker flips and you were not prepared, but it does get a little ridiculous only seeing 5 feet in front of you.
Wait, all the way to the right.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's coming.
Well,
it's coming.
It's close
It's
to us
coming.
right now. I think he just died. We need to get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god, she did just die.
Surviving hunts in VR is a little more difficult for a few reasons. The increased immersion makes them far more terrifying, like your life is actually in danger, but on top of that you have to deal with the awkwardness of VR. Just moving around is a little harder. You have the same move speed as normal and you can still sprint, but turning is where the problem is. The game has both snap and smooth turning options, but snap turning always breaks my immersion. It just feels weird to me, so I stick with the smooth turning, but I have to keep the sensitivity turned down a bit so I don't experience any motion sickness. If you have strong VR legs, it won't be a problem for you, but for me this makes looping the ghost around an object like a table just awkward. I tend to just run away to a hiding spot, and then that's where the next issue is, the doors. In VR, you open doors how you would expect. You reach your hand out and grab the handle and you pull it open or closed. It can be a little buggy though. Sometimes the controller tracking can be off, or maybe it's the game, but it makes it take longer to open the door. Like a quarter of the time it's not going to do what you want it to. Then you have to go in and turn around and grab the handle again to close it and hope that it does what you want it to. All of this costing you extra time that could lead to your death. You might not have this issue. I'm not sure if it's the game itself or just the VR headset I use, but it definitely makes the experience of running for your life a bit more difficult, which definitely makes it more frightening.
It's hunting. Oh, let me in. They're dying in there. They are dying in there.
There's also a bug I've ran into when opening the front door for the first time. If I walk into it while opening it, my screen goes black for a second as if the door swallowed me whole. I have to be standing still when I open it. Thankfully, it's only happened a few times and only on the first time that I enter the house, so it hasn't caused my death yet. Unfortunately, your hand has no physics outside of grabbing things and flipping switches, so you can't turn the handle and then let go to push the door open. You have to hold it the entire time. There is a good thing about this though. For example, when you're hiding in a closet, you can actually clip your face through the door. Hello! And watch the ghost walk by. Depending on your game knowledge, this can help you identify
Like
the
how
ghost.
you're also doing hand movements while playing to explain it to you.
Yeah, man.
If you didn't know, VR players can play with non-VR players, can lead to some pretty funny interactions.
You didn't even take me out to dinner.
Hello, I've been waiting for you.
However, if you are playing with strangers in public lobbies, sometimes it might take you a minute to actually get accepted in the lobby. Some people don't want to play with VR players and will kick you immediately because they don't think that you are serious enough.
Don't forget to do your stretches.
Oh my god. Nice.
Especially if you are a low-level beginner. But if you keep trying, you'll eventually find one, and with all these new players, you might even find one right away. So, is Phasmophobia better in VR? Personally, yes.
Oh man, I've glitched outside of the map. Now I can't spectate.
While it does have its fair share of annoyances, I think those ultimately make the experience even more scary. The added immersion really raises your anxiety, feeling actually present in the house with the spirit, and the added challenges of trying to run and hide from said spirit is nice. Honestly, playing solo VR has become my preferred way to play. Everything is more tense, everything is more scary, makes me feel like I'm Aaron from Ghost Adventures.
Oh my god. Holy
Even with all of its issues, if you haven't played it in VR yet, or maybe the game's gotten too easy for you, I think you should give it a try. It might just become your new favorite way to play.
He's always moving his arms.
Yeah.
If you are interested in seeing more VR gameplay, I do have this video as well. Feel free to check it out, and thank you for watching.